Hello and welcome to Stories, the True and the Fictional, the indie author podcast supporting indie authors from all around the world. This episode is brought to you by Rebecca Castles of the Rising Dawn series. You too can become a sponsor by heading on over to buymeacoffee.com/STTATF or follow the link in the show notes. And now, let's get into the show. Warning. Listening to this episode may cause your TBRs to grow in size. Hello guys and welcome to another episode of Stories, the True and the Fictional, the indie author podcast supporting indie authors from all around the world. I am one of your hosts, Jay O'Brien. With me always is our Triple R resident reader, Ryan. How you going, Ryan?
Living the dream, my friend, living the dream. Not much happened this week. I actually started my very first Western book by Secret Stacy, the Bet Donovan and the Battle for Wyoming. Only my cover looked a lot better because it's newer.
Yeah. Well, I'm waiting for the hardcover, my friend. I'm waiting for the hardcover.
Yeah, it's very good. I'm up to about, I think, chapter 20 or 21. And I really like the character. It's really good. It doesn't feel like a Western to me. It feels more like a hero's journey, coming of age story, which is really good. But yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it. So there we go. That's something I never thought I'd do and I never thought I'd enjoy. But I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm up to date with season 4 of Ted Lasso.
Nice.
My favorite character is back, Mr. Roy Kent. Absolutely, Brett Goldstein, absolutely love him. And Coach Beard is back as well, and he's just as funny as ever. But yeah, it's really good. It's got pretty much everyone that was in it. You know, it's just obviously he's coaching the female team, and it's a lot better than I thought it would be after 2 episodes. And it's just the same, feel good. 1 minute you're laughing, 1 minute you're crying. Just really great TV show. Yeah. So. If you love Ted Lasso, jump on season 4. There's 2 episodes out so far. And that's about it. Going to see The End of Oak Street tomorrow, which is
that's the dinosaur movie
with Ethan Hawke and Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to that. I've wanted to see that for a while, so
yeah, it's definitely on my list.
Yeah, it's supposed to be very good. The first trailer that I ever saw, it looked like a horror. And then at the very end of the first trailer, a raptor runs past. I'm like, okay, it's a dinosaur.
Dinosaur horror. Yeah.
And then the second trailer is all about the dinosaurs, and you see them everywhere. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that tomorrow. So, but I really enjoyed our chat with Adam Fernandez that we just had.
Yeah.
Sci-fi author.
Yep, Adam's on. He's a part of the Kickstarter Rings of Adventure. Cool. It's like a soap opera sci-fi author, so not like the integral. It's not Star Trek, but yeah, fascinating chat. It's got me very interested in reading his many books. But back on Rings of Adventure on the screen right now. We got some merch to support the Kickstarter, so if you want to buy some of that, all the money's going to go into basically funding ads and stuff like basically it's going back into the campaign, so it's not going to be pocketed and not going to be like, yes, I'm rolling in riches or whatever. No, it's going to be to support the campaign itself. If you want to grab some of that merch or some of our other merch, or support our sponsor Rebecca Castles and our honorary sponsors Janelle Schiecke and Alexander Robb, because they are some great people, great authors. All their links are down below. And the other thing I was going to say, Ryan, because when you were talking about what you've done, I'm going like, guess what I've done? Reacher season 4's out, so I started watching that.
Yeah.
I started watching that, and he's still a tank. I'm just going to say he's still a tank.
Oh yeah. Me and my wife are going to. I actually asked her the other night. I said, "Look, I've only watched the first episode of season one. Do you want to watch Reacher with me? Because season four just started, and
Yeah,
I said Jamie said it's amazing. It looks really good, so we're going to start watching that sometime next week.
that's awesome. Yeah, no, because season four, it's good, but it's not as good as the last season.
Okay.
But there's still some great fight. There's a fight in the library, and he's beats someone up with a book. So, a little John Wicky there, but it's a good show, and it's based on a book series, so it's topical about this podcast. But guys, if you want to reach out, thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com, please join our Discord. We've got a lot of multi-author episodes coming up, especially story pitch round 7 coming up. We're going to plan a story pitch horror version for October. So reach out. We'll give you the link to our Discord and we can jump in there. But I think we should go and talk to Adam Fernandez. What do you reckon, Ryan?
Yeah, I reckon we should go and talk to him. And he's such a great guy. And yeah, definitely make sure you support him and jump onto his latest series.
Yep. All right, let's go talk to Adam. Adam Fernandez, welcome to the show. How are you going?
Good. Thanks for having me.
The first question we always like to ask is, who is Adam Fernandez?
I mean, that's a great question. I'm still figuring that out. But as far as the basics go, I am a science fiction author from the great state of New Jersey, the finest of the 50 U.S. states.
Is that contested or?
I mean, not by me. I mean, somebody might contest it, but I feel like it's well established.
Excellent. Well, we're going to talk all about writing your books, the anthology that we are a part of together. But first, as always, our listeners will know that we have icebreaker questions. So, Ryan, forgive me. Because I'm forgetting, does that mean I'm going first this time?
Correct. Yes, it's your
Okay.
turn to go first this time.
That's it. All right. Well, first question off the bat, Adam, is who is your favorite dynamic duo? We've got our Batman and Robins, we've got our Timon and Pumbaa's, Rick and Morty, but who to you is the best dynamic duo?
So maybe not a choice you've had before, but I don't know how big of sci-fi fans you guys are, but I think for me it's Jack O'Neill and Teal'c from Stargate
Oh,
SG-1.
yes. Yes. Ryan can't comment on that because he's only watched like 1 or 2 episodes of
I've
Stargate.
watched 12. I've watched 12. The first
Yeah.
12.
Yeah. No, 100%. I grew up on Stargate. I love Stargate, and yeah.
Yeah, to me it's just, I mean, they're just such a classic pairing. They bring such great energy that
Yeah.
even years later, I think it still works.
Yes.
It aged well.
I love that episode where they body swap too. Have to play
Yeah,
each
that was a
other.
good one.
Um,
And the time loop too, where they
yes.
just like the Groundhog Day thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that was
a lot of good
perfect.
moments.
Not 100% agree. I could talk Stargate all day. Um, one of the greatest shows of all time in my book.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Question number 2. What's something that's on your bucket list?
So, I was thinking about this a lot, and I think for me, honestly, I'm not really much of a bucket list kind of guy. I am not very patient about anything. So usually when I get some crazy idea in my head, I just want to do it immediately. Otherwise, either I'll forget about it or I'll move on to something else that I can do immediately. So that tends to be kind of my approach. So I try not, I mean, obviously we all have goals, but I try not to get too caught up in like, lofty, distant goals. I try to keep things manageable and more immediate.
Okay, then what's your current goal right now then?
Oh man, right now it's to finish all of my various works in progress that I've been procrastinating on a little bit too much lately. Uh,
That's good. I can really appreciate that. Um, well, I'll bring up the graph that comes with this question.
oh,
It's this is not name the presidents. This is if you could make a TV show version of Mount Rushmore, what would you throw up there?
all right. This is gonna be a weird one, but but just stick with me here.
Okay.
Well, I mean, obviously it's Stargate SG-1, right? We got to put that up there. So
Yeah.
that's an easy answer. Separate from that, we have I'd probably put Archer, the animated series.
Yeah.
Because I think like anytime I see one of those episodes on, I want to watch it and I can watch it. I'll leave it on in the background while I'm doing other stuff. I always enjoy it, so it's really good. I'd put Survivor up there just because I like challenge like competition shows.
Yep.
And I'd actually like I've still been meaning to watch Australian Survivor because I always hear it's so much better. But it's just very hard to watch here, and I haven't figured out a way to do that yet. But it's definitely on my list. And for the fourth, I mean, I watch a lot of stuff, so it's kind of hard to pick a fourth. But lately, I don't think we're going to get any more seasons of it, but I really enjoyed American Prime Evil, which is a Western drama, which I don't know, it was just it really hit for me when I watched it recently, and it's kind of stuck with me since then. So I think I'm going with those for now. A little diverse, but
Yeah, no, that's what you want. That's what you want in a Mount Rushmore, right?
Yeah, I think so. We need more diversity on Mount Rushmore, I think, probably.
Yeah. That's it.
Me and my wife are big Survivor fans. We've watched, I think over a period of time, we went when Prime started having all the seasons of Survivor. We went and watched, I think, 40 seasons in a row. Just because it's been like a staple in our household. Even back when I was younger, when the first season came out, I jumped on board, and I really like it. And I've watched the Australian Survivor as well, which is definitely it's different. I guess we would say it was better because it's where we're from, but I do love the American Survivor as well.
What do you think of the old Survivor, like kind of the pre-COVID Survivor versus the current Survivor? Do you have an opinion on that?
Yeah, look, I really like the early seasons. I'm a bit of a like I like to call myself a videophile. It was hard. The first say 10 to 12 seasons were great, but they weren't filmed obviously with a HD camera. So that we've got a big TV, and it was just a small bit. And then when they finally switched over to HD, I really liked that because as I said, I love the diagnosing the quality and everything like that. But yeah, after COVID, it just got a little bit, I don't know, I just felt a lot more repetitive. It felt like not as much effort was put into things. Like the first 10 to 12 seasons, there was always something new. There was always, a new challenge or, a new situation that they were put in. And then I just felt like it just got very repetitive, like they weren't putting enough thought into it.
Well, because they kept changing locations right in the beginning, so I think that added a lot of interest to the show. And then once they, were like, okay, we're just going to be in Fiji forever with like fixed sets, which I guess makes sense, for cost cutting measures and whatever. But I think the quality definitely went down though, at least a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I can agree with that because it was always good. For the first 10, 12 seasons, it would always be a different location. And you'd be like, okay, wow, like I really liked it when they went to China. That was a really good season. And obviously when they came to Australia for season 2, that was another good one. But yeah, I think you're right. Once they just sort of thought, okay, we're going to just stay at Fiji, I think that's when the quality kind of went a little bit downhill. But in saying that, me and my wife figure we've made the commitment for 40 plus seasons. I think we're in it for life.
I think so. Yeah, that's us too.
You gotta survive Survivor.
Yeah. Me and my wife joke, and we say at the end of every season of Survivor, they put him in like cryogenically frozen. They cryogenically freeze him, and then they bring him out for the next season of Survivor because you don't really see him on anything else, and he just doesn't seem to age quite normally.
It's true. It's true.
All right. Okay. Question number 4. Dr. Emmett Brown leaves his DeLorean parked in your driveway. Where or when do you go?
I think I'm going to the Roman Empire. It's a little cliche, but I just love to see like Rome at its height. I don't know, maybe around like 117 AD, and just see what things were like back then in antiquity. See how much of it we got right over the years studying. You know, think it could be super interesting. Probably really dangerous too, and I doubt I'd last very long. I'm sure some disease or another would get me, but it'd be probably an exciting first, quick ride though.
Yeah. Suppose it'd be a good way to go
Definitely.
out too.
I mean, certainly be exciting if nothing else, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be a popular answer. A lot of people that we have on and we ask the question, they say we'd like to go back to the Roman Empire and just just pick a spot and just watch over the years and see how it all goes.
Mm.
Probably has a lot to do with the demographic, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of nerds who like the same stuff.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
it.
definitely.
That's it. If it's not Rome, it's like medieval Lord of the Ringsy kind of feel, you know?
Yeah, which likewise probably be terrible too. You
Yeah,
know?
100%. Cool,
Okay,
cool.
your turn.
My turn. All right, it's the hot air balloon versus janky sub question, which we stole from another show, Earthquake. So basically, the question is: would you rather fly in a homemade hot air balloon way up in the sky, or a homemade submarine way down in the ocean's depths? Or, as Ryan likes to put it, how would you like to die?
And I have to choose one, right? I
One
can't
or the
just stay on
other.
the ground. Yeah, I'm taking the air balloon then. Yeah, the sub is like literally my worst nightmare. I think that'd be terrible. Um,
It's
I wouldn't step anywhere close to it.
it's the confined spaces.
No, that wouldn't do it for me. The second
Yeah.
they closed the door, I'd probably have a panic attack, and that would be the end.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's it. That's it. Um, Ryan's disappointed. It's now 9 for the hot air balloon and 3 for sub, as we keep our tally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the submarine would. I always say at least death would be instantaneous. You would just, if something went wrong, you would just kind of implode straight away. Whereas if you're in a hot air balloon and something goes wrong, there's at least, depending on how high you are, there's at least 30 seconds to a minute of you falling, seeing your impending doom. And then I'm just the kind of person where I don't want to know that I'm going to die. I just want to die.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to try and stop it. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I'd much rather it just happen like that than, see myself falling for like a minute and, you know,
Mm.
I think I prefer the implosion. But you know what? I can understand with people with small spaces and stuff like that, and I can definitely see that side of things.
I think the sense of impending doom would just be a little too much for me.
Yeah.
I get it. 100%. Yeah. But I'm afraid of heights, so like I
Mm.
think as soon as the hot air balloon took off, I'd be like yourself in a submarine. I'd be having a panic attack, and I'd just be cowering in the corner, not looking over the side, and yeah. So I
Yeah.
think that's probably why I picked the submarine too.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we flew through them. So now we're going to talk about you. Like, what is your author origin story? How'd you get into it?
Yeah. I mean, so for me, I don't think I have like kind of the typical story that most people do. I didn't really have like a story that, I kind of been thinking of since like I was a child or anything.
Mm.
It kind of grew more naturally. I mean, I've always been a big reader. I've read my whole life quite a bit. And I got into a point where I was I run a lot and I run a lot of long distances, so I'm kind of just out there for a lot of hours. And I started getting really into audiobooks. And there was a point where I was getting through like, I don't know, like 100 audiobooks a year, if not more. Like I was going just right through them one after another. And I kind of eventually got to a point where I just kind of wasn't really finding what I wanted to listen to anymore. And I was getting kind of a little bored with it. And so then I started spending more time listening to music and kind of thinking of like my own stories and kind of ideas that stemmed from stuff I had read. Um, and then eventually I kind of just got to the point where I was like, I'm going to give this a try. I have some ideas. It maybe could be a cool story. And I just sat down one day on a whim and I was like, okay, I'm just going to write one scene. and it was just a random scene that I thought about. There was no plot, there was no nothing. It was just vibes. That was it. That was all I was writing. And I wrote it and I kind of liked where it was going. I was like, this there could be a story in here somewhere. And then kind of as I, kept doing my normal routine and stuff, instead of listening to books or anything, I just kind of spent time mapping out a story in my head. And then that kind of became Vermilion Flames eventually.
Oh,
Um, and that's kind of where we ended up.
awesome. So you write primarily sci-fi? Is that, am I correct in?
Yeah, so it's like space opera and like military science fiction. Probably more space opera. I think it probably leans, but I don't know. It kind of toes the line between the two.
Yeah.
Uh,
So you don't go heaps in depth into this, how things function and all that stuff. It's just like,
almost not at all. Yeah, it's
yeah,
it's mostly it's like science fantasy
yeah,
more than anything.
yeah. I while I appreciate the intricacy of sciencey stuff, that's a hard read for me, just personally. Personally, so
Yeah.
I love things happening. I'm like, yeah, I don't need to know how that ship is working or whatever. It's just
Yeah, like I mean, sometimes I explain broad stuff in the sense of like just the world building, right? Like,
yeah,
so we can understand like why the world is, functions the way that it
yeah,
does. But outside of that, it's kind of like, hey, listen, this works, this technology works, they figured it out. Don't worry so much about how they figured it out.
yeah,
Just roll with it. It's fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No,
So you don't need an advanced degree in physics to read your book and enjoy it.
Absolutely not. No, because I mean, like I'll read a hard science fiction once in a while, and like, I work in a science field. I have a science degree, but I don't want to write that stuff. I
yeah,
want to write fun stories that are just exciting and cool to listen to, stuff that makes you think. Um, that's kind of more my focus. Um, the science stuff, I'll leave that to other people who are much better at it than I am.
yeah. Yeah. So what drew you to the soap opera science fantasy stuff?
Yeah, it kind of stemmed from, I think at the time I'd been reading, a bunch of other science fiction. I had read like the Forever War and some other stuff, and then like I'd read Red Rising and kind of gone through that. And I kind of was never a big science fiction reader growing up or anything. Most of what I read was mostly like, high fantasy or just,
Yeah.
epic fantasy. Because that was popular in like the 90s and early 2000s. So that was most of what I was reading. And but as part of that though, a sort of a topic of study for me has always been like religion has always been kind of interesting to me as a topic. And I felt like in a lot of science fiction, and although religion is not a unique topic in science fiction, it comes up, quite often. I feel like it's very often told from a certain angle, where, either it, some kind of like, there's always like sort of a negative lesson attached to it, or,
Hmm.
it's shown in a certain light. It's kind of the boogeyman for technology or whatever. And
Yeah.
um, for me, I wanted to approach it kind of from a different, or it's a case where, everybody has just suddenly become atheists in the future.
Yeah.
And I've always found that really hard to believe that that would be a reality because,
Yeah.
at least through human history that we know and our current world that we live in, lots of people believe a lot of different things, right? And they
Yeah.
believe them very
Yeah.
intensely. So I wanted to imagine a world where, there is this faith component that people have, and there's characters who absolutely believe it for lots of very legitimate reasons.
Hmm.
And there's kind of a culture behind it, and they aren't necessarily directly at odds with the goals of other characters who don't believe those things, and
Yeah.
sort of the intersection of all these different components. But I want it to be more nuanced than just like, I think a lot of ways that it's approached sometimes by other authors.
Yeah.
Um,
That's definitely something I noticed. Like, especially because Star Trek has that feel of a utopia where everything's just like so succinct. Oh, look, we've reached, the best place we could be. And yeah, it's just strange because, humans are, different, like individually different. And, um,
and there's a lot of, and I imagine in a world where, people are living on lots of different planets and different moons. I mean, they're separated by immense amounts of distance, right? I
yep.
mean, culture is going to develop differently.
Yep.
The things that matter to these people are going to be different. Um, and they're going to believe things, and especially if you take then like in my universe, there's sort of the legends of these people who had figured out a way to live forever, essentially,
Mm,
and um, they obviously kind of kept these secrets close to their small group, right? Only the select few were given these sort of gifts. So out of that, grew a rebellion that was more focused from a sort of human religion aspect of like, hey, these people are playing God. That's not cool. Look at
mm,
the rest of us. We don't get to live forever. That's not okay. And
Yeah.
that's kind of the basis of the conflict, right? And then everything kind of grows sort of organically from there. But I didn't want one side to just be automatically good or automatically bad, right?
yeah,
There are sort of good and bad people on both sides of the conflict.
yeah.
Um, just separated by what their different goals are, right? They want different things. They care about different things.
So do you write in the one universe, or do you have a couple of series going? Like, what's?
Yeah, so I wrote in the same, everything I write is in the same universe.
Yeah.
There are kind of a bunch of different point of view characters. It kind of grows as the series grows. So like in the first book, you get two main characters. And then kind of by the time you get to the third book, there's quite a few others. So it's just a very big sprawling world. I try to cover a lot of kind of geography too. So you get a taste of a lot of different planets and different cultures and things. And um, and I try to get it from a bunch of different angles. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Traffic from way back when.
Oh, I
Um,
think so.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
so I kind of try to take that approach where like you have all these sort of different storylines happening and they all are going to converge and some, converge as you read along. But they're all kind of a part of like a much larger storyline that the individual characters don't all understand as it's
Mm,
happening. But I try to keep that kind of as like an undercurrent of the story. So, um, which is kind of a hard thing to do, I think, as like a kind of unknown new author, right? Because doing that kind of thing, I think, people have to have a lot of faith that you're actually going somewhere with the things that you're doing,
yeah.
Yeah.
which, isn't always right. If I was Brandon Sanderson, I could write the craziest 300,000 word thing, right? And people will automatically read it, assuming that it's going to be good, right? They go into
Yeah.
it already thinking, this is going to be good. It's going somewhere. I'm in, right?
Yeah.
But we don't get that luxury as indie authors usually. So, but I'm enjoying the challenge. It's been a lot of fun. I care a lot about the story, so I try to really like infuse that into my work. And so far, I mean, people seem to enjoy it, so I'm definitely happy about that.
No, well, you definitely got me intrigued. I
Cool.
think my TBR is growing. Uh, um, are you a plotter? So do you plot all this stuff out, or is it a bit of both?
Uh, I have like a very like broad
Mm,
outline. I have like I use a lot of spreadsheets to kind of keep track of like dates and timelines and especially like as I've gotten deeper into the story, I have a lot of characters and a lot of different stuff happening at the same time. So, I have to, for the sake of my own sanity and for the
mm,
readers, keep track of all that in like
yeah.
a kind of regimented way. But more broadly at like a scene level, not really.
Yeah.
I kind of think about it as I go. Usually I'm like maybe my thought process is like one chapter ahead of where I am right now.
Wow. Yeah.
Um, and then I kind of like, like kind of my process. I'll go out for my run for the day. I'll think about what I'm going to write when I get home. For the next chapter or whatever it was I was working on, maybe work through kind of some scenes or some dialogue in my head. Because I have kind of like a very visual imagination, so I kind of try to visualize the scenes, and then I come back and I try to write it, and that's often the challenge. I think my imagination is, sometimes very big for a page,
Yeah.
and I watch a lot of movies and shows and stuff, so a lot of times, you could do things with cinematography that you can't really do with writing, so it's kind of trying to translate a lot of those things, but also very fun. I don't know. That's kind of how I like to do things.
Cool.
Awesome. Awesome. Do you want to give us a bit of a rundown on what the story of your actual book is, like what the
Like,
plot and the synopsis?
well, which series do you want to pick? Yeah. Like.
Well, so everything is like so there's the main Midnight War series, which I
Mhm.
have books 1 through 3 out, which starts with Vermilion Flames, which is kind of where I recommend everybody starts, mainly because it has sort of the most, the basis of the world building. And then there's also the Iceborne book, which technically can be read first if you wanted to, but it's sort of got a little bit more of a different feel. It's more like a single point of view, character-driven story with kind of a slightly different focus. But it takes place in the same universe. There are some characters that overlap. Um, that point of view character from Iceborne does show up starting in the second book of the main series. So like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, you start with Vermilion Flames. It kind of introduces you to the main conflict. And the story follows a like sort of an old fleet commander who is sort of represents the status quo. He's been, you know, a loyal citizen and champion of the Republic. He's done a lot to keep it afloat. Basically, his main job as part of the military is, you know, finding terrorists and anybody who might be trying to undermine the Republic's authority. And his goal really is just to capture the leader of the Vermilion Coalition and kind of stop things before they get out of hand. And he hasn't been doing a great job of that lately. And his enemies in the capital are starting to plot against him. Kind of the tides are turning, and he finds himself in an uncomfortable situation. So he kind of has like one more chance to sort of figure things out before his head ends up on the chopping block. And then meanwhile, you also get that contrasted with a young noblewoman who is kind of gets her mother dies under suspicious circumstances, and that kind of leads her to sort of lashing out a bit. She ends up going somewhere where she shouldn't be and ends up getting into trouble, but because of kind of how powerful she is and her family is, they can't just kind of kill her outright. So what they do instead is they send her to study to become a member of the church and the government, right? They're kind of hand in hand. And by doing that, she would have to kind of renounce her birthright and kind of all that. So that's sort of the approach they take to kind of get rid of these people, sort of like in medieval Europe, where you'd send the youngest son away to become a priest so that he doesn't cause too much trouble in the later on. But so kind of similar thing, but through the process of doing that, she obviously doesn't really like this arrangement and goes looking deeper into her mother's death and some other things that she finds, and she kind of ends up embroiled with this budding rebellion, and she ends up kind of on a collision course with Silas, the fleet commander. And then that's kind of how the story goes. So you kind of get these two storylines that kind of converge in the story, and then lead you to sort of the bigger plot of the story by the end. There's some mystery, there's some kind of like thriller elements, a lot of politics, some action. You get a little bit of everything.
That's awesome. So who did you cover? Because it's pretty cool.
Yeah, this is Tom Edwards, who is amazing. He's done all my covers. He does primarily sci-fi covers. He's done he's done a lot of popular stuff. I know like Michael Chatfield, for example. I know he's done a bunch of covers for him and a bunch of other people whose names I can't immediately pick up. But if you go on his website, you look at it, you'd be like, oh yeah, I've seen a lot of these covers before. He's immensely talented. He's based out of the UK, so really great. Highly recommend him if you're looking for a sci-fi cover.
Sci-fi, yeah. So did you have an idea of what you wanted for the cover, or did you just give him some vibes and then he?
Yeah, he probably would wish I gave him kind of more direction than I probably do. Personally, I'm not an artist, right? So I try not to tell artists too much what to do. I go, look, I trust you to be artistic, right? I'm pretty flexible, just kind of run with it. But kind of what I wanted was a sort of futuristic, like witch trial vibe was kind of what I was going for.
Yeah.
So I actually originally, there's a version of the cover, which I use like in some marketing stuff, that has like a person, kind of tied to the pillar there. But I was worried that it might have like ran afoul of, Amazon or something. So I was like, okay, we need to rework this to be a little bit more subtle. So that's kind of how we ended up on this version. But But that's kind of the, kind of the vibe I was going for, because and it
Yeah.
relates directly to the plot of the story. So
So what you're saying is someone's inside those flames.
yeah, I think that is in fact a thing that happens. Yeah.
Yes. You heard it here, folks.
Spoilers.
Oh, that's really cool. I love taking like real world, real history, and whether you turn it into a fantasy or turn it into a sci-fi, like I just love that stuff. Um, especially like like Narnia being an example. It's like C.S. Lewis is like, hey, what would happen if Jesus was in a fantasy world? Well, that's what would happen. Like I love that kind of that stuff, and
Yeah, I mean, me too. That's kind of the idea here. And, I will say, like, the religion in the book is totally fictional. It's all made
yeah,
up. Like, it's not, it definitely, resembles things that I think people will
yeah,
find familiar, but it's not meant to be a one-to-one
yeah,
kind of thing. It has its own sort of structure and
yeah,
everything. Um, but it's the same idea, right? It's like kind of, if there were suddenly a group of people who could live forever and there were people who were going to be protesting against that,
mm,
kind of maybe what are the things that they would believe in? Like
yeah,
what are the stuff, what's the
Yeah.
yeah.
what would kind of be the foundations of their faith?
Yeah, I really do. I think I'm gonna grab one of your books. What should that be the one I start with? The
I think so. Yeah.
yeah,
I've done some experiments with people try to figure out, hey,
yeah,
Vermilion Flames or Iceborne. Iceborne, like I think is a great novel. I enjoyed writing it immensely, and
yeah,
but it's got kind of a different focus. So I recommend starting that one like after you finish book
yeah.
three, because timeline wise, that's actually where that book starts.
Cool.
Um, so by then you'll kind of have more of a sense of the world, and I think the book you'll just get more out of the story that way.
Yeah, cool.
Um, if you make it that
Okay.
far, yeah.
I am a slow reader. I'll get back to you in 5 years. Um, so how do you go about world building? Like, do you create the world around a character, or do you create a world and then throw a character into it? Is that like what's your approach?
I think it's probably a little bit of both. I would say, like, in a lot of ways, the world dictates a lot of the characters in the sense that, we're dealing with like sort of, imagining life on different planets that
Yeah.
have, different gravity and different atmosphere
Mm,
situations and kind of, some are more hostile than others. So then that kind of influences how I design certain characters, like
hmm.
how would they have grown up, right? Like,
Yeah.
so, you might have one character who grew up in a very affluent neighborhood with a dome and nice controlled clean air and atmosphere and stuff.
Mm,
And then you might have another character who grew up like in a slum where, radiation poisoning is a very serious daily problem, right, for people. Um, and so then that's kind of influences like, how these people react. Because a lot of these sort of problems in the that you see in the universe are socioeconomic, right? They're based around where people grew up and with what and what they had, what options were available to them. There's sort of like a not necessarily like a rigid class structure, but there's circumstances that make it there's not much social mobility. So
no.
people are kind of locked into kind of where they are. And it's just very hard to break that cycle. And then that impacts, how these people talk and
Yeah.
how they, what they believe. And the big thing is if you're a big audiobook fan, that was something the narrator Eden Gabbai is did a fantastic job and it's really good with a lot of voices. So we were able to really capture that element in the voice acting too for the
Mm,
audiobook. So if you like audiobooks, I would recommend it's a great way to enjoy these books for that reason. You get kind of like an extra element.
yeah. I've been meaning to get into audiobooks because I got a 40-minute commute to work, so it's just like it's perfect audiobook
Yeah,
time.
it'll be perfect for you.
Cool.
Yeah,
So
definitely. I've been an Audible member for a very long time, and yeah, I thought there's nothing like I will buy the actual book and the audio book if I really like the book. So yeah, can't recommend Audible enough.
I was going to say if you're buying the ebook, they'll give you the audiobook for very cheap as well.
wow.
You get like a pretty big discount on the Audible version if you buy the ebook at the same time.
Yeah, I'm actually just buying a couple of your books now, and I'm seeing that with the audio book, it is giving you a discount. That's why I'm looking down at my phone, but as Jamie says on all the other episodes, if I'm looking at my phone, it's because I'm buying your book.
Yeah,
So
if his dries drop.
I'm just going to picking up. Yeah,
Well, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I hope
It's
you enjoy them.
oh, no, not a problem.
214 books now on the old TBR.
No, no, too.
Yeah, light work, light work.
I'm buying all five of yours, so that's
Okay. 16.
218.
Congratulations.
Well,
Congratulations.
thank you, thank you.
So why don't you tell us a bit about your short story that you're doing for the anthology for Rings of Adventure? Links down in the show notes, guys, if you want to jump on board and support that. It's launching September 1st. I'm assuming that's American time. So it'll be
Probably.
September 2nd Australia time. But yeah, tell us a bit about what's your approach? What are you doing?
Yeah, so I mean, so I don't normally write a lot of short stories. I've only written one other one before, which was also set in the same universe. So this one I kind of didn't really try to break the mold too much. I did
Hmm.
another short story set in my known universe. It follows a character who shows up in Iceborne, actually. So it's kind of like an origin story for that character. And it's sort of a short little, for me, it was difficult because, the scope of my story is quite large. So trying to find these sort of
Yeah.
intimate moments and write about those as is a different writing challenge. That's been a lot of fun doing the anthology. But with this one, you follow so he's kind of a cross between a cowboy and like a canyon racer from Star Wars,
Oh, wow.
like a pod racer.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a similar to that mixed with like a modern Formula One driver. And he's kind of on the verge of winning another championship. His life is going pretty well, but his boss and the team that he races for has gotten mixed up with the wrong people. They owe a lot of money to the wrong people, and now they're coming to him with a very uncomfortable
Mm,
proposition, and he has to kind of manage that and hopefully make it out alive.
awesome. So do you think you will extend that short story and maybe that theme into another novel in the future?
So funny enough, yeah, I think so. I was talking to some other people about it who are kind of familiar with like a lot of my stories, and they were like, "Oh yeah, like this has legs. It could maybe be something bigger." And I've kind of always been trying to find a avenue that I could do kind of more traditional sort of like sci-fi adventure novels like within my universe.
Hmm.
And this character like and the timeline that we're dealing with kind of would suit that idea really well. So I think so. I mean, if I ever get through like my other projects, I mean, at this point, the
Yeah.
ideas are piling up faster than I can write them. But I certainly like to. I mean, I'm kind of in this for the long haul here, so
Yeah.
I plan on just making this universe grow and grow and grow until I don't know, until I can't anymore, I guess.
Yeah. You can never run out of ideas, you know. I've got like two, yeah, no, like yeah, two A4 size papers of just bullet points of ideas I have for stories. And it's, I'm like, I've already committed. I'm going to finish the series I'm working on now. Then I've already planned. Like I'm not. I've got the next one planned, but I need to do a lot more preparation for it, world building and all that stuff. And now I'm already having ideas for the one I'll do after that. And I'm like, if I'm alive, I'll get to that one. Especially
I,
when you have Ryan, who's like, you should do this, you should do that, and then you're like, now the series is growing, and it's like, ugh.
yeah, and then it's before you know it, it's 12 books, and
Yeah,
each one is 300,000 words, and you're like,
yeah,
okay, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure this is economically viable anymore,
yeah, yeah.
uh, but at that point you're committed, right? I mean, what can
Yeah,
you do?
yeah, that's it. Like, people are asking for it. I mean, it's a good problem to have,
That is a great problem. That is a
It's a
great problem.
it's a good, but the funny thing with me is I'm working on book number 6. Only book anyone ever really buys is my first book. And it just keeps coming back to that.
I
You know,
mean,
like,
that's all of us, right? I mean,
yeah,
the read through. I mean, even for the best author, the biggest authors in the world, the read through. I think they say you lose like 50% from book to
yeah,
book. So I mean, it just
yeah.
stinks, but it's kind of the nature of the beast, I guess.
I will market that, and I don't even have to market it. I just people keep buying it. I put
That's
a
awesome.
I started putting QR code, like just like literally. Oh, I think I got a sticker here. Literally just that. I stick that in random places.
Hold on, I got to scan
What
your barcode there. Let's see.
is it gonna
All right, nice, I got it.
like? I do that.
Oh no, I got to change countries. Oh no.
Yes. Well, because I'm not sticking it in America, but yeah. So that's a link to my first book, and
Nice.
no poster, no nothing. It's like a random QR code. I've sold 5 books in the last month just from that link. Um,
That's awesome.
yeah, just put
I
it
gotta
put
start putting links everywhere now, I think.
yeah. Well, it's a cool idea, and technically it's not vandalism because you can just peel it off. So,
Mm,
but like
clever
I
idea.
I put one in the cubicle of a toilet. I put one on a train. I put one on a sign in one of the supermarket areas, and it's just like it's working because people are going, oh, I wonder what that is. Like,
I mean, that's a good see. Yeah, I mean, I might steal that idea, I think.
just take it, man. That's my marketing advice to you authors. You don't need a good book cover. You just need a QR code.
I don't know. That was a pretty compelling book cover though
Yeah,
that I was seeing there. So I
yeah.
mean, definitely intrigued.
Every it's the one like I did like a kind of like a mini book tour on podcasts a year ago, and everyone's like, um, I was promoting my the book at the time, which wasn't that one. It was like book number 3 or something, and I'm like, I'm here to talk about this new book, and they're going, anyway, the Emu War. It's just like everyone wants to talk about the Emu War, and I'm like, okay.
I think because I think because one, a lot of people don't actually believe that it happened,
Hmm.
and the people that do believe that it happened think that it's such a crazy story. It's
It's
worth talking
hilarious.
about.
Well, it is funny. I'll pay them that. Like people want to keep buying my book, buy it. It's funny. Um, yeah.
It's great. It's gonna be it's getting added to my TBR for sure.
It's a quick read. It's literally a quick read. Like you could read it in one sitting if you want.
Yeah, awesome.
It's like what I call a coffee book table. Like you can pick it up, you can flick to any page. Like there's no real plot running through it.
Gotcha.
It's just like it's war correspondence written by emus. So that's all it really is. Um, check it out on that link, guys. Um,
Definitely,
but
definitely go to the link, buy it.
buy the emu and then buy my other books. I have other books.
Buy all of them,
Yes.
every last one.
Um, cool. So what are you working on at the moment? I mean, is your short story done for the anthology?
Yeah, short
Yeah.
story's done. So that's good to go. I mean, I've handed it off. I don't know that we'll have to do anything else with it. Hopefully not.
Hmm.
But outside of that, I'm working on the sequel to Iceborne,
Hmm.
which is just about, it's getting close now. So I'll be releasing that probably before the end of the year. And then I'm kind of toying with the idea of combining that one with Iceborne and just making one long novel.
Mm.
Because really the only criticism I ever get of Iceborne is that some people think it ends a little abruptly.
Mm.
Um, so part of me is thinking, I might just end up just sandwiching them the whole thing all together, and then hopefully then nobody will have anything negative to say about it. It'll be great. But so anyway, so I'm working on that, and then I have another novel that's kind of a lead up to book 4, which originally was just meant to be like a short story, like kind of bonus content thing. But
Hmm.
I actually just really kind of fell in love with the story as I was writing it. And before I knew it, I had like 40,000 words written, and I was like, I think this is turning into an actual novel.
Mm.
So I haven't released too much information about that one, but that'll probably be the next thing, probably in like the spring of next year, and then book 4 of the Midnight War series. And I'm planning kind of 5 books for the main series total, so we'd be um we'd be almost there, almost to the end.
Yeah. And then when you're just about to wrap it up, you were like, crap, I got another idea for book 6.
Yeah, probably.
And
It'll be brutal, I know.
if it doesn't come from you, it'll come from someone like Ryan. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to it. No, because I think what I want to do is like once I get done with book 5 is kind of do like a soft reset in the universe.
Okay. Cool.
Because I want to stick with the universe. I kind of, there's a lot of stories to tell there and a lot of directions to go. And um, I think, I've just at this point too, I've just grown a lot as an author.
Hmm.
Objectively, the third book in the series versus the first is, I mean, it's objectively just much, much better.
Yeah.
Um, and if I were to start fresh again, I would do things a little bit differently. And I think it'd just be good for the series to, and kind of for everybody's enjoyment, kind of start
Yeah.
new, come up with some new ideas in the universe, and kind of kick off a kind of a new adventure for old fans and new fans.
Yeah. That's cool. But
Awesome.
but you do know that like as an indie author, you can just go back and change stuff,
I
whenever you
can,
want.
yeah, yeah, I've told myself though that I'm not allowed to go back and change anything until it's done.
Yeah.
Once all 5 books are out, then okay, then I could go back and I
Yeah.
probably will go revisit book 1 again at that point.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple extra bonus chapters and kind of re-release it. Uh, you
Yeah.
know, and then it's kind of good for everybody, right? If people like, maybe at the same time I do book 5, right? If I'm sure that is the end, maybe it would make sense to do it then. I don't know. A lot
Yeah.
of ideas, but we'll see kind of how it plays out.
Yeah. That's it. Um, so one of the questions we like to ask authors is basically, what's a little bit of advice that you'd give, or maybe something you'd tell your younger self, on your writing journey, maybe someone starting out.
Well, I would say a little bit of patience is definitely good. I probably could have used a little bit more patience
Yes.
in the beginning. But at the same time, you don't know what you don't know until you
Yeah.
do it. So, you don't want to get stuck in like analysis paralysis either, right?
Yeah.
Where you're like unwilling to just put the thing out there and kind of just see what happens.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, you do need to do that. Don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it. If you need advice, you need help. Like, there's a lot of people that are willing to give it and they'll give it to you for free. You don't
Yeah.
need to pay people for it. Definitely don't hire people to give you advice. I don't think that always leads to a lot of
Yeah.
great outcomes. Find a mentor or somebody that you trust their opinion and kind of work with them. And stay the course.
Yeah.
Don't give up on your dream or yourself. It's going to get hard. It's not easy for anybody. I don't care who you are. You could be Stephen King. It doesn't matter. It's not easy to finish writing a book. There's going
Yeah.
to be a lot of times that you don't want to write, and you're going to think every word you put on the page sucks, and like
Mm.
the story doesn't make any sense. And those things may or may not be true, but even then, you have to just got to keep going. You got to finish it. Just got to finish the thing.
Yeah.
And then you can always go back and fix it. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be on the page.
Yeah. That's it.
And yeah, I think that's my grand advice.
That's your grand advice. And get someone like Ryan who bugs you to, when's the next chapter? I'm reading this. Yes, Ryan, I've couple of days you'll have something. All right. In a couple of days you'll have something. All
Awesome.
right. Just I like to finish blocks, I don't want to give you something in the
Yeah.
middle when it's not, so you can have.
No, that's fine. I was just going to say, I'll take it whenever I can get it. Yeah, I
Mhm.
just like to say, I finished what you've sent me already, and when you're ready to send me more, and I'll happily
Yeah.
read it.
And it's not
Yeah.
intentional that I leave everything on a cliffhanger. Just saying.
That's why I like those. Working with a live document is actually kind of nice because you can,
Mm.
give somebody a link, to your Word doc or whatever, and then
Yeah.
they can, you can drop chapters in as you go along and make changes as they go along and as they comment, and
Yeah.
that could be kind of nice in the, especially in the beta phase. I
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah. Because that's what I found going back onto the anthology. Like, just we did that with all our short stories, and people are commenting on it and reading it. I'm going, this is super helpful, especially as an Australian who's writing something that's completely Australian and foreign to you guys. It's just like, I don't know what that is, but I like it, and just like it was like super helpful. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I found it super helpful. I enjoyed that aspect. Like I've never really had a huge like beta reading team.
mm,
I have a couple of people that read my stuff usually, but outside of that, it's me and then my editor, and then that's kind of it.
yeah,
So it was nice having like kind of a much broader audience early on.
yeah, cool. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna play a game, my friend. We're gonna play a game. I don't know how you are at coming up with ideas on the spot, but
Oh boy.
you're gonna do this now. It's a
Okay.
very very popular game that we call Story Pitch. So there is a setting, a genre, a main character, and a crazy addition. You're going to give us a number between 1 and 12 for each of these categories. Me and Ryan are going to tell you what they are, and then you're going to have to pitch us a story pretty much. It doesn't have to be like some super in-depth thing unless you want it to be, but it's like kind of like bullet pointy. But
Okay.
there's also four different graphs because we've had that many people give us, stuff to add on to it. So, number
All
one
right.
is easy. Number four is more subgenre and weird, hard. They call it hard. Um, so there's going to be a warm up round, and then there's going to be a play for real round, I guess.
Okay.
Um, so pick a graph for round one.
Uh, one, I guess.
One, we'll go for
All
one.
right.
And
Yeah.
then just four numbers between 1 and 12. And you can double up. You can go 2, 2, 1, 2, or whatever. There's no
Okay.
worry with that.
Let's do 3,
Yeah.
7, 5, and 11.
3, 7, 5, and 11. Okay, so your setting is the zoo.
Okay.
Okay, your genre is journey fiction. So, the characters going on a journey like Lord of the Rings kind of thing.
Yeah.
Starting at one place and ending at a place far, far away.
Okay.
And for the very first time, and this may sound familiar, but your main character is an alien raised by humans.
Ooh. Okay.
And your crazy addition, which is someone or something that must appear in the story, even if it's just for 5 seconds, and it is a senile former mage. So an old mage that's gone a little bit crazy in his old age, and
Like
yeah,
think crazy Gandalf. He's just lost his mind.
All right.
So it's a journey fiction set at the zoo. Your main character is an alien that's raised by, by humans, and you've got a senile former mage.
All right. Um,
It's random.
all right. So you get so I think the plot of the story is that your alien raised by humans is going to find himself in the zoo after dark. The zoo has closed. He wasn't familiar with closing times or really how any of those conventions work, so he was left behind. And it turns out the senile former mage, who is working as a janitor at the zoo, an after-hours janitor, because he doesn't remember that he's a mage. But he does have these sort of brief moments of clarity where he decides that in the polar bear enclosure there is in fact a portal back to his homeworld, and he is determined to take the alien back there with him. So they go on a journey through the zoo after dark, um, you know, doing combat with the various animals that they encounter along the way, and trying to make it home.
Perfect.
okay, I like it.
I really
I
like that.
like I like the idea of the senile old mage just being a janitor and he doesn't know why he's a janitor, and he's just like, oh well, I guess I'm a janitor now, and that I like that. I like that.
That's
I like
oh, I love it. I love it.
excellent.
That was fun. I like this.
All right,
Let's do
round
another.
round two. Okay, so round two, you can't pick graph number one. You got to two or three or four.
Let's go 4. Let's go all in.
Go all in. All right.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
Sure.
do you want the same numbers or new numbers?
Let's do 4, 6, 8,
Yep.
and 12.
4, 6, 8, and 12.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So your setting is a retirement village.
Ooh, okay.
And I don't know how this is going to work, but your genre is a coming of age story.
Oh, we've had that before.
In
Okay.
a retirement home, though? Like they've already sort of
Yeah.
come to age.
Yeah. Oh, lots of different people go to retirement homes. Uh, your main character is a sock puppet marriage counselor.
And
So wait, is
this
this a
one might.
marriage counselor that only works with sock puppets, or is the marriage counselor literally the sock puppet?
It is up to your interpretation.
And the crazy addition, which I think might fit in quite well with the retirement village at the moment. Crazy addition, which is someone or something that must appear in the story, even if for 5 seconds, is Harrison Ford looking for his family.
Where's my family?
Oh no.
So it's a coming of age story set in a retirement village. Your main character is a sock puppet marriage counselor, however you want to see that, and it's got to have Harrison Ford looking for his family.
All right. So in this retirement village, the main character has actually lived in this retirement village for quite a long time, but he finds himself that he has that Benjamin Button syndrome where he has
All right,
aged
yeah.
in
Backwards.
reverse. But now, and instead of going to the end of his life, he's actually starting it all over again. And he's trying to convince his old love interest, the sock puppet marriage counselor, that he is in fact the person that he used to be. But they just think that he's a orphan boy who has wandered into the retirement village. So they're trying to figure out what to do with him. When near the peak of the story, Harrison Ford comes in and tries to claim him as his own son, thinking that he is in fact his family. And despite trying to deny it, they think he's just a child, and they give him to Harrison Ford in the end.
Well done. I'm in
Okay.
tears.
Yeah. I
Oh,
like it.
amazing. Well, Adam, thank you for joining us. Thank you for playing that crazy
Yeah,
game.
thank you for having me. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, actually. We'll do that anytime.
Well, we do have our group one coming up again for next month, I think. So keep an eye out for that, guys. If you're listening and you want to join in the fun, we do these regularly as a group writers' room version, and hilarity ensues. Let's just say that. But for now, Adam, we'll give you the floor. Plug what you want to plug. Tell listeners and viewers where they can stay up to date with what you're doing. Anything you want to share, the floor's yours.
Yeah, definitely. The anthology we mentioned, definitely get on there and follow for the updates when the campaign launches September 1st. Definitely buy that. Check out Vermilion Flames. Pick that up if you love epic science fiction with some emotional elements. And yeah, and just look out for the new. If you're already a fan, look out for the new releases. They're going to be coming soon before the end of the year.
Excellent.
And thank you for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
Thanks for joining us. And guys, I will leave all the links down in the show notes. Please be sure to check that out. Remember to check out our sponsor, Rebecca Castles, our honorary sponsors, Janelle Schiecke and Alexander Robb. Also, keep an eye out for our end of year Indie Book Awards. We're going to start putting some voting options this year. So it's going to be a lot of fun with that. So keep an eye out for that. If you want to reach out, thetrueandthefictional at gmail.com. And until next time, keep supporting those indie authors, and we'll catch you on the next episode.